There we
Oh,
go.
there we
All
go.
right. We, the people of the internet, and myself are live with special guest Nicholas Burgess.
Hello.
Donnie is not here. So he said he had some stuff to do. I don't know if he's working on a video for his project or new music or no idea, but he said he had some stuff to take care of. So, and he said he looked and he said he thought we had plenty of videos. So, which is true, we do. So no problem there. Um, so we have you here today, Nicholas. It's an intervention. No, you released on Friday the 13th,
hmm
earlier this month in October of 2023, um, a, a I don't remember the title. A Creepy Zeepy is what's coming in my mind. That's a
Yes,
track.
that
Is that the
that is no,
title?
that's the title. That's the title. Yep.
Okay, and that is a track from the. It's a seven album or seven track
Only
EP. Are
one
we calling
album.
it?
It's
No.
well, um technically, I guess by the rules of like a lot of the streaming services, it's an album, although
Okay.
I kind of went into it thinking it was an EP. That's the song is called Creepies, and Creepies EP is
Uh,
a play on words because it's a Creepies EP.
uh,
But
I did not
but
pick up on that, so I'm glad you
no,
explained
but it's
that.
an album because I think 6 and 7, and there's some time limit too, is like the
Yeah,
threshold that like Apple Music and those places make it an album, and that gets you a little more visibility. So I was like, well, I have 6 songs, I might as well do one
interesting.
more.
So
Yeah.
that is one thing I didn't know that. So I knew on Bandcamp if something is
Mhm.
listed as an album. I know personally when I look, I take a look at those. So,
Right.
but people do also release on Bandcamp single track albums. And not like I'm
Right.
not talking like trance like 60-minute tracks. I'm like this is a single. This is
Well,
not an
it's
album.
I've done that
But
before, and on Bandcamp it's tough because basically anything more than, well, even one track can be an album.
yeah.
But the reason why you do that is because Bandcamp has some weird it's gonna be boring for people, but stuff like behind the scenes that basically you can't, I think, like, you can't do, like, a pre-order for a single track or things like that. So
Oh,
you make an
interesting.
album with 1 track on it, stuff like that, or, like, if you wanna sell a, I don't know, like a sticker or something that also comes with a download, I think maybe you have to make it an album. There's some weird little,
Yeah.
things with Bandcamp that do that's why I did it.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I think you're wrong. I don't think that's going to be boring at all for people. I think people are really interested in this stuff,
Yeah,
and particularly with Bandcamp, and the everything that's going on with that. I mean,
right.
um, I think there's the whole union busting aspect of
Mhm.
it, which is its own political thing. Which who knows? I mean, there was an acquisition, and I don't know. I don't
Right.
know what's in people's heads, but the other thing is that like when you decrease your staff by that much, I think
Mhm.
people are rightfully concerned about the customer service aspects and also the editorial content that Bandcamp has been very good
Mhm.
at putting out. So um, my personal opinion is that um, you kind of have to wait and see how this plays out. That's how I feel. I mean,
Mhm.
like nothing, as far as I can see, nothing has really changed. I mean, like I feel bad for all those people that lost their jobs, but like,
I think it
uh,
was kind of like the editorial side that they cut most of the jobs from.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. I mean, I kind of peruse the Bandcamp dailies occasionally, but I don't do a whole
Mhm.
lot of reading on that. So me personally, I haven't seen that yet. I think maybe over the course of time, um you know maybe I'll pick up on the fact that like I'm not landing on Bandcamp daily pages and stuff, but it's just not a part of my like weekly cycle to go and read those to where
Right.
I haven't noticed. But people are definitely interested in alternatives, and I think the centralization on Bandcamp was always a
It's been
potential
bothering me
problem.
for a while that I
Yeah,
didn't, well, I mean, speaking of nothing changing, they haven't really, that website hasn't changed much since in the last 10 years, in a good and bad
yeah,
ways. So there's
right,
some
yeah.
things that you'd kinda like to have implemented that they haven't. So,
Mm.
I've been looking, I mean, I haven't been looking for really an alternative for, streaming, because I mean, my stuff is on YouTube. I
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
But for selling physical merchandise, I've been thinking about just like trying to set up my own store and see how that goes for me, because it's not like I sell so much that I
Yeah.
couldn't handle it. But I don't know. I'd like to look into things.
I was talking to C. Ryder. I don't know if you know him. Different genres, different parts of the country, but both in the CC scene. He's in Colorado somewhere. But he was talking about doing the same thing,
Hmm.
about doing his own site. And I don't have a problem with people having their own site, but if you're gonna do your own site, like instead of Bandcamp, because his was like a political thing. He wanted to
Hmm.
leave Bandcamp because he thinks they're
Yeah.
being assholes. And that's fine. Again, I don't have a problem with people looking for alternatives, but I feel like there's Jamendo, there's Free Music Archive. Now, Free Music
Hmm.
Archive has its own sort of weird history, but it's in better hands now than it was when it was under Kicksplit. I haven't My personal interactions behind the scenes with Tribe of Noise have not been super great,
Hmm.
but at the same time, um, what is that guy's name? I don't remember the guy's name. The guy in charge over there. He's really he's not trying to hide anything. He has a vision for what it
Hmm.
is, and he's like, look, we gotta keep this business running.
Yeah.
And so if you have things in the Creative Commons community that aren't going to be moving the bottom line for them, he's like, we don't have the resources to deal with that, which I think might be a little short-sighted,
Hmm.
but at the same time he's the one paying the bills. So I don't have like, they have been involved in the Creative Commons scene for a long time. So I don't have a problem saying, hey, go check out Free Music Archive. There was a time when it was very much, when it was under Kicksplit, it was very much like, hey, we're using this to sell like video equipment, which first of all just didn't make a lot of sense, first of all, but
Yeah.
second of all, it was just kind of weird and gross. So it's a better place now, but everybody I think misses the old WFMU days, but the site had problems under WFMU, and they didn't have the money to fix it. And so I think over the years, maybe this was Tribe of Noise that ended up fixing it. I mean, they've done a lot to like make the site more
Hmm.
modern, and it was just so slow before. So, um, have you ever done anything with the Free Music Archive?
With them, no, I mean, I was starting to put out my own stuff, like really around when Bandcamp was getting started,
Yeah,
and before that, uh, I don't know. It was so fragmented that it's hard to even remember what we
yeah.
did.
I'm gonna tell you, I think so Music Manument was a curator, I
Yeah.
can't talk, over at the FMA, and that was one of the great things about FMA, is it was all based on curators. But I think I uploaded
Oh yeah.
the Claw Job album
Yeah.
over
You
there.
probably you may have. I remember there's a lot of stuff that, like, I mean, it was Creative Commons, and if people asked us, we'd always say, yeah, sure, do whatever.
Yeah,
So it may have been up on places that I don't remember.
yeah, yeah. I never asked. I figure if it's Creative Commons, then you've already given permission. That's
Yeah.
an interesting thing. You know what? Let's watch one of these videos, and then
Okay.
I've been having some conversations with some folks about that whole asking thing, and I think it'd be interesting to talk about. So you sent me well,
Yeah.
two different things. So we'll just do them in order, and I can plug them in here.
Yeah.
So you've
I can
got
they both have kind of like interesting little stories. So I can
Yeah,
whichever one you want to play first, just tell me which one's first and
yeah.
I'll.
Let's do the Killer Bee Relay Team.
Okay, so he is electronic artist in Philadelphia. He's remixed my stuff a few times, and this was a project he did where he set up like a solar panels and some other sensors in his backyard to measure, obviously to measure like sunlight and temperature and things like that, and how to control synthesizers, and made I think it's, I can't remember if it's 12 or 24 hours, but I think it's 12-hour long track.
Oh,
You put it on Bandcamp, I think, as 12 1-hour tracks, and you can get it. This is just a trailer, so this is like 2 minutes long or something. But it's called Blackberry Jam, and then he did like a thing on his Patreon, I think, where you could get an actual jar of jam made with the
oh, very
blackberries
nice.
from this
Yeah.
bush along with it. So if you like this and you want to hear it for like 12 hours, that's on his Bandcamp page, and it's probably in other places too, but that's what
Sweet.
this is, like a little trailer. So it's not much of a video, but like you get the idea, and it shows the setup with the synthesizers and the plants and everything.
Fair enough. All right, let's check it out. I have a question for you. Do you have any idea what the availability of the jam is? Because I noticed it was limited quantities. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Oh,
There we
okay.
go.
So just so you
Okay.
know what happened, it has this feature which is nice, and when you
Oh.
play the video, it automatically
It auto mutes you. I get
Yeah.
it. He gave me an update a couple of weeks ago, and I thought he might have been running low, but I don't think I ever heard it actually sold out. So there may be some, but he may be sold out of that jam.
Yeah. Well, if they're not, then you know, don't delay. Act now.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I don't know how much that like Patreon tier is. I don't know if it's like
Yeah.
for the high rollers only, but it's pretty fun
Yeah.
that he
I like
actually
it.
made something to eat with it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the full 12 hours yet, but I'm sure it's good. I don't even know if he's heard the full 12 hours. I don't know how you make something like that. Really, I don't know how you mix that, and I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The just like especially like with the video, like the amount of RAM to like you the the video editor would have to like load it in chunks. I mean, you wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to load like 12 hours all at the same time unless you just have like a massive computer. So yeah, no, I enjoyed that. You said it wasn't much of a video, but I mean there were a lot of
Yeah.
good
Well, I mean,
shots in there. I mean,
it's kind of like it's just like a little trailer. I think
yeah.
I think he put up some it's like time lapse stuff with it recently. I couldn't find it on his. Well, I found some longer videos on his YouTube, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to make you have to pick a 5 minute chunk out of an hour and a half long video or something.
Yeah.
But it's
No, that
there.
sweet. I want to make sure I got this. Got the YouTube side where I can see it, because I want to make sure we don't go over 55 minutes, because if we do, it won't
Right.
sync to PeerTube. So, and the counter here is not the recording time, which is a shame. All right, that was awesome. So I'm excited. Let's move on. We can talk other stuff later. So you've got the one from Mute City.
All right. So that's Mike, who is, you mentioned Claw Job. He was in that, and he was in Hexmap with me, and he does he also does electronic music, and he has recently done two kind of video based projects. One would have been too long for this, but it's he did an 18 or 20-minute set at the planetarium here, where they had video projected all over the ceiling of the planetarium.
Very nice.
And that is, I think it's on Vimeo. You can see that. But he also did this little shorter one I thought was a little more appropriate, where it was someone was sending out different electronic musicians, I guess, bits of public domain video or old film video, and then having people compose music to them. So the video here, I guess, is some like public domain clip.
Sweet.
That he then did music for.
Before we watch this, because I
Yep.
do not want to forget to ask this.
Sure.
You said was in Hexmap. Is Hexmap
Oh no,
more?
Okay. No, we're still working on stuff.
Okay.
We actually were just recently, we got about half done, but we were remixing some old stuff just to kind of like get back in the habit of working on stuff, and we're trying to figure out a good way to do like remote file sharing rather than lugging a computer. Like what we used to do would be to take a computer to the practice space a couple times a week. We had like a external hard drive we'd plug into and all that. So we're trying to figure out a way to get, so we can both access the same files from our homes to mix them. So we were starting out with practicing remixing some old stuff. So that if we decide to, we might put that out. So there might be some polished up versions of some older stuff coming out.
Sweet.
I think we have like half a dozen songs that sound totally different, but I don't know how far we'll take that, or if we'll just roll on to new stuff.
Sounds good. All right. Here is Mute City. All right. Enjoyed that. Anything else to say about that one?
It's shorter than most of us. I mean, if you check out his other things, they're more than a minute and a half long usually, but that had an interesting video to it, so I thought it would be a good pick. And I do encourage people to it was called Farcaster, was the 18-minute one. And that is a whole like video presentation. It was a cool experience in the planetarium. I'm sure if you get really close to your computer screen, you could somewhat replicate that.
If you put your laptop monitor on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm checking our show notes, which only go back to like 2021, November 3rd, 2021. However, that's quite long enough to have watched this all night midnight Monstervania video that you have. I think we saw last year all of the stuff off of that album, but this is off of the remix album. And I remember when that came out, but I don't think we watched this video. So yeah, why don't you tell us about that?
Is this the one with the little yellow puppet on it? Is that what the video looks
Yeah,
like?
he's got a what does it say on the front?
Oh, he has like a
Claw Tendo 64.
Yeah, so this was just kind of a little well, the remix album was a remix album. I wanted to do it ended up just being an EP. We didn't get remixes of every single song, so I think we did like 4 tracks of remixes and then a couple instrumentals. But this track was, I thought that the original was reminiscent of like Castlevania music, so I did the track in that style mostly. And the visuals were from like a little animated loop I had made to just kind of like advertise the album. I would put it to different songs on the album. I think I did it to an earlier remix. I think I did it to the song Grave Plot, and I did it to the All Night Midnight Monster Party song. And then I thought, I rather than just use it like online as like little just Facebook posts or whatever, I would put it on a video for posterity. So it's just a little looping guy, but it was a fun visual for this. And I think I added in the little video game controller part to make it fit the theme of the remix.
Yeah. This is All Night Midnight. In case you didn't catch the Castlevania reference, Monstervania.
Fresh blood. I think it's time for some new friends to enjoy our hospitality, our carnality, and their own mortality.
Very nice question about our little creature there.
Yes.
Is that all digitally animated? Because what it looks like is
Mm-hmm.
something that's like, you know, a actual toy that's been like taken a picture of, and then like the picture has been done with. That's what it looks like.
Well, it was the basic body part was like an AI generated basic body, but then I took that into Photoshop and I drew, like I repainted most of it.
Yeah,
And then I took that and I cut it apart in Photoshop to make all the limbs separate. Then I took that and I like created a controller, added that, did all the
yeah,
animation. Then I took separate elements. So the furriness I to use AI for, but pretty much everything else
yeah,
was hand drawn and painted and animated. That's why it looks like it was a picture cut out, because it was just cut out into pieces. So I'd like cut the like a left arm, move it off, repaint everything underneath to make it, fit, and then like animate the arm up and down and stuff like that.
nice. Yeah, the textural element that the AI did. That's what I was like. It really looks like, something that, you know had like the guy in the background.
Yeah,
With the
I could
horns, your little
probably
blue guy.
I could have just saved time and taken a picture and just animated that. But it was one of those things where I thought, well, maybe this will work, and then it took so much work to get it to be what I wanted, where I could have probably just taken a picture to start
Yeah.
with, and that would have been easier.
At the same time, though, it's like the the uncertainty of what the AI is going to produce um
Yeah,
adds like a different creative element
true.
to it, because if you're taking a picture of something, like, you're the auteur,
Hmm.
from start to finish. And then um yeah, it's the whole AI thing is it's an interesting game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times you think it's going to be something simple, and then you sit there spending like an hour doing a million
Yeah,
variations just to get something that you could have done
right,
fast. I mean, not everybody could have done it fast, do things faster, but like
right,
I do a lot
yeah.
of my day job is doing Photoshop, and I do a lot of painting and drawing and everything. So sometimes it's just like extra work,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
where
yeah.
I could have
I guess
made something.
I guess my point is that that is probably not what you would have come up with if not
No,
for
no,
the
no, yeah,
AI.
the
Yeah,
randomness element
yeah,
is fun to it's kinda like, if you get, like, a new guitar, effect and you, change all the dials to be in random spots and see what happens, and it inspires you for the new sound that you didn't think of.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's I don't know. There's a lot of artists that are really against AI, but I think your curiosity is I don't know. I hope that's an inspiration for folks, because it's not going away. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
kind
at
of
least at the point where it is now, it's not, uh I mean, this might be different in 5 years, but the point where it is now, like, to me, is stuff like if you just pop it out and use it as is, it usually doesn't even look very good, like, to my eye. Like, a lot of
yeah,
times it
yeah,
looks kinda cheesy, or there's obvious things wrong with it, or, things like that. So it takes work just to make it good. So it's not even
right.
like a super crutch or anything. Sometimes it's like, I don't know. Like I said with that one, you make it, and then there's so much work to actually get it to be what you want that there's still a lot of creativity and like taste involved. And I think a lot of the times when I see something that I think looks bad, that it's AI, it's a matter of the person's taste who made it. Like, I wouldn't like it, whatever they made, even if they were like master painters and they like painted something, I still wouldn't like it, because if they think it's good, like that just says to me like they don't share the same taste that I do.
Fair enough. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. I didn't send you, I don't think, the show notes. So um
You had mentioned before something about asking permission with like Creative Commons stuff that you wanted to get back to.
oh yeah, that's true. I was just gonna say, I wrote in here for mostly for Donnie. I said
Hmm.
I'm gonna let Nicholas guide us, and then I then I left some tracks in here. So I wanted to ask, do you want to hear some new music, some stuff you probably haven't heard before?
Yeah.
All right. What you want to listen to some dance music or some?
Sure.
All right. So
anything.
fair enough. This is the band Freaky Mind with I Just Wanna Dance. All right. Felt like that was creepy enough for a Halloween show.
Yeah. There's some weird aliens in there.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to ask about the EP. We need to come up with a word that like combines album and EP. But we don't have a lot of syllables to work with, so.
No.
But you did a great job with creepy EP.
Oh, thank you.
As far as that word of but there was a couple times in that in the album, I'll call it an album, where I felt like you were channeling Nine Inch Nails. I don't know if that was something that was ever in your head, but there were a couple tracks where I was like, man, this could show up on a Nine Inch Nails album.
Definitely on the last track of the album, there's a little of that for sure.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of other spots, but the last track is like 4 or 5 minutes long, I guess, and it's kind of like slow with this really distorted low bass and a bass synth, and it's definitely reminiscent of some Nine Inch Nails tracks on that one. There might be other spots too, but that's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head. But let's start. Let's take a look at what is the first track on the album. You've got a lyric video for that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna let you pronounce that since it's
Sure, it's El Llanto de los Zombies.
yeah. I was
That
good
means-
with everything except the second one. I was like, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know
the
how to
double
pronounce it.
L, as far as I know, the double L is like a Y sound, so it's Llanto.
Yeah. I think it may be different in different dialects.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's like kind of like a J-ish, like Llanto.
Yeah.
But I think the way I say it, like an American.
Yeah,
be
that's
Llanto.
fine. You know, and sometimes it's worse to try to like do the accent. You just sound dumb. I mean, you know, like me personally, like I'm not trying to do a French accent, you know. Maybe I know Spanish well enough to try that, but like
Well,
a French accent, it's like no.
When
it's
you
not
go
happening.
to another country and you're speaking and you feel silly doing the accent, but it does make you sound more understandable to native speakers.
Interesting.
Sometimes even if you speak English in the accent, which sounds totally stupid, but like
Interesting.
you sound like you feel like you're making fun of people. But I mean, if you think about someone from France came here, it would help you if they were trying to do an American accent, like saying words, because it would make it sound more like you're used to hearing, but they might feel silly doing it.
Yeah, fair
They
enough.
probably feel like they were being ridiculous, but yeah. But my accent is not good. So this track does have a guest doing a spoken word part, who is a native speaker. So she sounds
Very nice.
She sounds good.
All right, let's check it out.
Buenas noches, señoras y señores. Ha habido informes de sonidos extraños. El llanto de los zombies.
love that.
Thank you.
All right. So yes, I brought up earlier the asking for permission thing. So one of the things that has happened in the wake of the whole Bandcamp saga is just people are kind of reevaluating the Creative Commons music scene. And one of the things that I think we kind of have a problem with is that, I guess, the TLDR people using, well, I guess really actually the problem is the licenses don't always reflect people's intentions appropriately.
Right.
And I think this is particularly true with the non-commercial licenses, because I feel like most people, when they're putting the non-commercial stuff on there, what they don't want is for, you know, Exxon or Coca-Cola or whatever to like take their stuff and use it in a commercial. But they're not necessarily opposed to like independent filmmakers using their music in their works. And the license doesn't reflect that. Now the license does give that as a possibility, but I think one of the problems is that part of the promise of Creative Commons is to sort of take out this negotiation that would, you know, play out to get a license for music. And so like, here's a license, here's you know, just now you know what you can do with it. But what a lot of people are saying is like, hey, if they just ask me, then I'd be cool to grant them an additional license. I mean, so any, you know, the copyright owner, the musician in this case, they can grant an additional licensing, you know, to, you know, either to for certain purposes or for whatever. Important to note in this case that it only goes in one direction. So you can't take the CC BY-SA license and then add additional things to it. That's not the way the license works. So if you want to give, so you can't add additional restrictions, you can give additional privileges. So it makes sense, given that that's the way that their licenses are written, that people would pick the non-commercial and then they would wait for people to ask. But I think people don't ask, and I don't think that the licenses do a good job. So this is one of the things that you know, we're at CC 4.0 right now. So there's the opportunity to go to 5.0 or 4.1 or whatever. And I wonder if it would be useful to have some sort of you know, like way to signal in the license that you are open to being asked for other creators to remix your work or you know, to use it in their works. Now the problem with just saying, oh yeah, that sounds awesome, which I think it does sound awesome. The problem is people already kind of know, in at least a vague sense, what these licenses mean. You know, they've seen the little icons. And then to change that could introduce additional confusion. So I'm curious what you think about, you know, those trade-offs there.
Well, people do ask all the time, and I think a lot of people don't. If they find music through whatever, let's say on like Instagram or wherever they hear something, they don't necessarily even know how something is licensed. So I get asked once in a while, you know, can I use your music in my video that I'm making or whatever? And I'll say yes. And it probably would be good to add something. I don't know if you need to add like a little icon or something, but the licenses do have that text you're supposed to put in that's like I can't remember it verbatim, but I mean, I've used it a million times. Like the this is licensed under a Creative Commons blah 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 license. I wonder if there could be some kind of thing that says, contact license holder or whatever for further. I don't know. I don't know how to word
Yeah,
it, but
I mean, so individual musicians or Bandcamp, they could put that kind of stuff on there, but I kind of feel like
well,
if
it should be
it doesn't,
searchable.
yeah, that's one of the problems with Bandcamp right now is that you
Yeah.
can't do a search by license. So, um, you're talking about not much has changed. I mean that's one of the things that's a problem. Um, this is the text that Block Sonic uses. So we use, I think it's the same license that you use, an attribution
Hmm.
non-commercial share alike.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the page right now. Yep, that's the same one that you use. So now if you go back into our back catalog, I don't know if Mike ever we went and relicensed. He used to use the no derivatives, and I talked him
Hmm.
out of that. And then there are a couple of things where uh, the samples are very obviously from, um, you know, commercial sources. I don't
Right.
remember off the top of my head, but we'll just say ACDC. Like
Yeah.
they're samples that everybody knows where these samples are from,
Hmm.
and we didn't clear those. Spoiler alert. And so we put those under an all rights reserved license because we didn't
Hmm.
want people thinking they could take
Right.
that and reuse it. Now, some people do the opposite. They say,
Hmm.
well, these are not my work, so I'm going to completely disclaim it
Yeah.
and make it, CC attribution or something, like,
Hmm.
or maybe they just use the non-commercial and they think, like, hey, that's gonna save me. And the fact of the matter is, us putting under all rights reserved doesn't save us either. If they wanted to, if they wanted to get litigious about it, then that would
Hmm.
just be what it is. But if somebody asked us to take it down, we would. But that was our way of basically keeping other people from getting in trouble.
Hmm.
If we get a cease and desist, whatever, we can deal with it. It won't be the first cease and desist that we've gotten. Um, Whatever. Not a problem. We haven't gotten any cease and desist about music. We've gotten it about some of our logos and stuff. So,
Hmm.
we're equipped with dealing that. We're a business. I have a legal degree, like whatever. But we don't. Other people don't need to deal with that.
Right.
In any case, here's the text that we have. If the above license doesn't already do so, we explicitly authorize the use of this release during for-profit DJ performances, radio broadcasts, and in online DJ mixes. We
Mm.
do ask that you notify us for use for our own curiosity, and that Block Sonic and the artist and the album artist are attributed and linked to where possible. I'm pretty sure I got that idea for that text from Headphonica, which is a German net label, many years ago.
Hmm.
And now that doesn't have the ask me text, but it is a standard part of any of our releases. Right under the license, you have that text. And so Bandcamp or Jamindo or somebody's website, they could have a standardized thing, and maybe that really is the best thing to do. So on the Bandcamp page, I'm looking at Creepy ZP right now. It's got the little three icons, and then it says some rights reserved, and then
Yeah, that's all it says.
right there it could say, contact the artist for additional
Right.
permissions. I
It could
mean,
even have a contact link. I mean, on
yeah, right,
Bandcamp.
exactly. I mean, up at the
Yeah.
top, um, or under the contact/help, there is a contact Nicholas Burgess. There
Yeah.
are things over there, and maybe that UI just needs to be more clear. And it's not just about being more clear. It's being explicit about what you're contacting about. And I really think that
Right.
would do a lot, especially for folks. I mean, this could be an on-off thing. Like if you want people to do it, put this on there for me. If you like the way it is, just leave it the way it is.
Right.
Um, So I would be, I'm going to point down somewhere. Where's my camera? I'm on time delay, so I'm looking at the actual screen. I should be looking at our video and not the YouTube video, because now I'm on delay now I look like an idiot because I'm like, but yeah. So down there in the comments, I'd be curious what people are thinking about with that, because I think if nothing else, the scene is a little stagnant, and I think that the Bandcamp layoffs have kind of given us a kick in the ass, which is, I mean, again, I don't think the Bandcamp layoffs are a good thing, but the kick in the ass maybe is not such a terrible thing.
Am I supposed to warn you that we might be coming to the time where it's going to stop the video?
No, you're not. But
Okay.
I mean, that's great. Yeah. So that's why I was looking at the YouTube page instead of at the Jitsi, is because it's got the actual timer. That's what I was looking at. And we are at about 52 and a half minutes. So I can't remember if any of these tracks that I have are short. So rather than, what I can do, actually, I can click on them and look at them in there. I don't think any of these are going to be short enough. Yeah. So what I'll do, maybe we'll play these on another episode, but it's October 29th now. If you need some more Halloween music, I'm going to leave the things that I had picked out in the show notes. They're
cool.
there now if people want to go and take a look at that. And maybe I'll grab some of those in future weeks and actually get them played. Next week, we are going to have Andrew Pomponio on. He's a DJ out of somewhere in Colorado. I think Aurora is where he's at. Andrew is not a Creative Commons musician. He's just a guy that I know. And I wanted, back when we were doing the show where it was more of a like drop-in sort of thing, I had asked him to come on a few times. And then I was just like, hey, let's just come on and play some videos. And if you don't, if you don't know, like if you can't find the Creative Commons stuff, or if you just want to talk about what Creative Commons is, like, that could still be an interesting conversation to have. So that's what we'll probably be doing next week. Hopefully Donnie will be back, and we're gonna focus on electronic music next week. So if that's your thing, be sure to check that out. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the people before I stop the recording here?
No, I don't think so. Thanks for watching and listening.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. I'm gonna hit this button now.